DLS Wave, and we are back.
Again.
All right, so as we know of the latest gift to our Buzstopboys friends, I think we did a video on Buzstopboys a long time ago, if you guys can remember that.
Yeah.
And everybody knows these guys are kind of like, doing a really great job. What they're doing is literally insane. Some of these, what do you call them, underground drilling these guys go, and it's like, I don't think there are too many.
You're trying to brutalize it. Gota.
Yeah, the gota. I don't think there are many people out there who'll be willing to do that, even for a pay, right? Not to talk about voluntarily. The voluntarily. What is that word, Steve? Voluntarily. Ogwa. Say we need to work by Oka. Voluntarily. So at the end of the day, yeah, I think the father of the land heard about the good works and decided to give them some items to enhance, the job or the good works they do in the city. But people also criticizing that the stuff that he gave the boys was not really enough, or to use the word, was outdated, right, for 2025.
Welcome His Excellency the President to do a personal presentation of some items to the renowned Buzstopboys, who are a group of great example.
We decided today to recognize these selfless, community-spirited young people who for several years, using their own resources, their energy and strength, continue to volunteer to keep our city clean. And so I got the Chief of Staff and the Ministry of Local Government to put their heads together. And they have these items that are arranged over there. They have 200 wheelbarrows. They have 300 shovels. They have 300 brooms. That is the local broom, prior, and then the one with a stick, standing broom. There are 300 of those. Then they have 300 hand gloves. When you're doing sanitation, you have to wear gloves in order not to carry infection. Then they have brushes. They call them standing brushes. And there are 280 of those. Then they have what they call short brush. I'm not exactly sure what that is. But there are 20 of those. And then they have 300 buckets, plastic buckets, 300 of them. And so we're going to present it to them this morning in recognition of their work, the work they do, and also to facilitate and make it easier for them to continue doing what they do. If other volunteer groups come up, we'll recognize them the same way and assist them to also be able to help the community.
So what do you guys think? Mr. L, do you think people are justified in their criticism of the father of the land, as in the president?
I think people are justified, myself included, because when I saw it, when I heard him speaking and he said he wanted to recognize them, initially I thought they were just going to give them, that citation thing where they can hang it there and say, yeah, but then he went ahead to give them some tools to help with the work. And the sort of things that were presented, I was asking myself, should these items be things that private individuals present to them to make their work easier, or the president? Because I thought that for a president to present such rudimentary tools to them for their work, I thought it was way below belt. So that's my initial take. I'll come out with the details when we hear.
All right, Mr. S, what do you, how much is enough? A lot of people are also going to say, come on, it's like you're being a bit, picky. These are supposed to be gifted to you. He's not obligated or mandated to give you anything.
As much as we cannot agree that they need some of those things. I think it has to do with the modern age. When it comes to sanitation, things that are needed, as in tools that are needed to aid your work on the street, especially when you look at how we've been swamped and swallowed by filth.
Trash.
The only reason you see people at that part of the road and not the bus stop is the simple fact that the bus stop is dirty and smelling. Behind the bus stop is a heap of trash, almost like a dumping site.
Yes, the tools that were given, I feel it is not up to standard in 2025. You understand? He could have presented a better, a more modern tools that will make their work easier. That is how I see it. But
that was what I was coming to. Do you think cash would have made more sense?
it is not. No, not cash. For me, this is what you say you are doing, right? I have to give you tools that will aid you, make your work faster, right, and efficient. This is my mind.
And you give them wheelbarrow pickups and
wheelbarrow
brooms.
wheelbarrow.
Yeah. What else do you want? I mean, it's gonna make your work easier and
listen.
faster and quicker.
No, yes, it will aid them, but not as faster as we've seen some well developed, not too expensive machines and things that can collect.
Yeah, like diggers and stuff like that.
And all those things. I think since they started, from the time they started till date, I think they've moved. I feel they've moved on. Don't get me wrong, wheelbarrow is also a good thing, but they should be having better equipment, especially when it is the government that is supplying them. If it's an individual like me and I give them a broom, right, and a wheelbarrow, okay, that is what I can afford, but I know government can afford more. And actually, they are doing a volunteer work that is helping the state. So you should invest in them properly. That is my take.
Yeah. I like the point you made about that. They are doing volunteer work, but it's supporting the state, which means that the money they would have spent to pay whoever they've contracted to do that same work, where in fact those companies are not doing the work, then whatever monies you're going to spend on those companies, you substitute it for the Buzstopboys.
And think about it. Let me top it up.
Yeah.
Those companies, if you do contract them to do such cleaning job, right, they will come with their machines, modern day machines, so they will charge you accordingly. But
okay, I think you guys are missing a very critical point. The point is, they are doing this work with voluntarily, which means you decided to go and do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So if you talk about like contractual ones, those are like, they are mandatory, like in the contract and, terms and conditions and stuff like that. So there are two separate things.
Yeah.
So this is what we're saying, like you said, rightfully, right? This is a recognition of their hard work. It's not like on a contract based or whatever. So the government is obligated to give them certain kind of like equipment to make the job easier. Like you said.
Let me challenge your point. Okay.
Challenge me.
So let's say these guys decide, okay, we are going to apply for contracts, right? Bid for contracts, but then we put our prices on top. Do you know the names they will be called in Ghana? We know the country we are from. Let's not hide from right now. So you start this, you won't take chop money.
This your small alacha thing you are doing. You want
exactly. So if they are doing it and you feel like, okay, I can give better contract with millions of dollars to other companies, why don't you invest in your own? Even
these are all hypotheses and conjecture, right? Let's face reality. The point is, like I said, they are a volunteer group. So if you say, it's like if they're going to bid or not, it's a different story.
This is where our problem is. They've come out, they've started willingly. As a government, you've actually we are short on that front, as in sanitation wise. We need people to come on board to help clean the country. So
but this is why the sanitation in ministry is getting a lot of money in terms of budget to execute their mandate.
So I can understand the point Tobacco is making. Yes, it's a volunteer group. Nobody asked them. They decided they wanted to do to help. But it's the same politicians. I'm not talking about this government or the previous government or whatever. Let's just say leadership, our chiefs, our politicians, opinion leaders. Everybody keeps saying that don't be a spectator, be a citizen, volunteer. How do you call it? Keep your country clean and all those things. Yes. Now, if you're bringing out all these mantras and you are lucky to have a section of your youth come out to do exactly that, I think that you should give them things or support them in a way that is more meaningful. These tools that we're giving, of course, they're going to help 100%. But I'm just thinking that looking at how they came up with very base, I mean, those tools that we're giving them, like you mentioned before, individuals can give them these tools, and a lot of people actually donate to them, and they use some of the donation for buying these things. So it is just logical that if a government is stepping in, like I always say, if you a toad must not be eaten, but if you must eat a toad, choose a fat and juicy one.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks like Steve-O. Yeah.
Exactly. If support is coming, if support or recognition is coming from the level of presidency, right, it should be something that
Useless.
it should be something that is, how do I call it?
It's above. It's above the.
It's above the average, what an
Average,
average person would do to support
my
them.
brother.
Yes,
Preach
it's a
on, preach on,
volunteer
preach on,
group.
preach on.
It's a volunteer group. I mean, look, they are not on allowance, they are not on anything. So I think that even like a small office where they could organize things properly. I mean, the last time we even mentioned off camera that you've given them so many things, 2 wheelbarrows, brooms, buckets. Where are they going to store those things? Did we think
Okay,
about
let
those
me
things?
cut in really quick, because this is where my devil's advocate hat comes on. Now,
today
as we
your devil will know
mentioned,
when-
rightfully, exactly. This is a volunteer group, right? So the recognition that they had from the president, people are saying it's actually going to give them a lot more exposure, right? So the private sector, a lot of people can come in and actually help. So when you talk about, let's say, a working space or an office or a storage for the items, the private sector individuals that are also citizens of the country can also chip in. Secondly, also, one could argue that there are other volunteer groups, right, that have not gotten this kind of recognition. I mean, all the way to the top. This came from the president. So what about those guys?
Right.
Those guys were not getting anything from the government.
I think they had those other people. They haven't done much to market themselves
Exactly.
because I've only seen Buzstopboys. I was actually surprised.
Yeah,
when
but that's the point. Maybe
Buzstopboys-
you saw them because they kind of utilizing social media to enhance the
Yes.
exposure. But
But
maybe
the other,
the
group
others
can
are
also
not.
do, the other group can also do the same.
No, I mean, you don't really know how the
No,
other group
listen,
operates. So my point that I'm making is that there are a lot of volunteer groups that are not getting recognized by the president. So people will argue that, okay, they've gotten a lot of stuff, 200 wheelbarrows, 300 pickaxes. It's not that bad, right? Why are you complaining?
Tobacco.
So I think, Siva, let me come in here. I think that as a person, personally, I didn't know there were other groups until the Buzstopboys CEO himself mentioned it to the
Yeah,
president.
he mentioned that there are a few.
Yes. Now that it has become public knowledge, if I had the powers,
was
I would
about to ask
honestly
you that question.
advocate. Yes, I would honestly advocate that maybe the Ministry of Sanitation have a special department taking care of issues of volunteers, because this has become something that is a growing trend, and so we don't just say that because people set it up themselves. We just let them be. It can be organized properly and supported properly, because we have a whole Ministry of Sanitation and we don't see any much difference. So they might as well just attach an office that is catering to the volunteer aspect, so that they can also, all the volunteer groups can be organized, better organized.
On top of it, it is proven that the work on the ground, our sanitation ministry cannot get it done.
Yo, they can't get it. What do you mean they cannot get it done?
No.
They used $45 million to desal the Odo River. That was done.
The
The Buzstopboys
reason.
cannot raise $45 million to desal that river. So
If you were sitting in front of me, my head would.
You see, another thing that's difficult for our ministries to do is it's usually difficult for them to organize and to have the whole country covered by some of these ministries. So if you're lucky to have private organizations, I mean, how do you call it, volunteer organizations coming up, and the guy mentioned it, they are in different regions already. There are other ones in different regions. So that's why I'm saying that if they have a department in the ministry that is in charge of volunteerism, it can actually be an arrowhead to set up packets of these all over the country, so that the
but
government doesn't have
arrowheads
to.
usually kill people, so that is not really a good point, because every
Yeah, but
arrowhead
it
is
shoots
intended
far.
to kill people.
Arrowheads you shoot far.
Exactly, and it's gonna get Steve, that guy. But let's move on to the next point. The next point I want to make is, I think a lot of people are kind of downplaying, like, the amount of work that is involved when you talk about, like, sanitizing an entire nation. Because people are also saying the same thing, they have to scrap, the Ministry of Sanitation and let these boys take control and all that. You think that makes sense?
No,
I know
that
they're
would
doing a
be
great
difficult.
job, but do you think they're up to the level of, like, handling an entire ministry's work, or,
They can
mandate?
no, you cannot push the sanitation side onto just
Ministry
one
side, yeah.
ministry side
Yeah.
onto just like this group of boys.
There are
right?
few boys, yeah.
We have a huge job at hand. But my point here is, if you set this particular group up properly, right, it will be easier for other groups to come up with proper structure. We can get groups, and all this can be handled. I'll give you a typical example. There was years ago in China, filth was all over the place. It became a problem. Somebody came up with a better solution though, but I'll say not every town, but every small community or whatever, they have a group, a sanitation group or company that works around and make sure they collect whatever they have to collect, make sure that the streets are clean. And that is why today you see China. The time I came, everywhere it was like Ghana next. You understand? So if proper structure can be created for people like the Buzstopboys and other groups that are willing, and we invest in them properly, we will not have the issues we're having. This is as simple as QBC CPTT.
All right, cool. Back to base. All right, Mr. L, do you really think what the president honored these guys with is not something that is worthy of, praise, to be like, okay, father of the land,
I think yeah, the donation is welcome, because with the work they are doing, they definitely need. I'm not talking about them needing high-powered machines, motorized machines for every one of the jobs they're doing. A lot of the jobs, the things that we donated are actually what they need, because you don't take a small excavator into a gutter or something. So yeah, it is. I won't say it's not useful. It's very beneficial and in large quantities as well, which is really good. But I just feel like they should have gotten something more, because if you look at how they operate, they usually choose an area. They work in Accra, Tema area. See, they usually choose an area, and everybody comes from their individual homes. So, for example, a shuttle bus could have been a good thing, and a shuttle bus is not a private car. Nobody's going to drive it to his house, right? They could park it. They could have a driver who, when they are going somewhere, they all converge at one place and they carry them to the location, and when they finish, they carry them back to a central point. This is just an example. Something like that, everybody would have seen that, okay, it looks like the leadership is really serious about our sanitation.
But Charlie, Ghana, we don't get money for buy shuttle bus. Money
For the where. Yeah, we're all trying to brofilize it, but I think it's kind of funny when you think of it, right? Basically, I just think that something more should have been done. These guys are coming from their own homes, buying their own food. It's a little bit.
Yeah. All right, Mr. S, do you think it's possible there was something kind of like offered behind this, behind the scenes that we probably did not see?
Probably, but that will go for them. Actually, if what I'm thinking is what was behind the scenes, then look a few for the pocket. That one, I don't have a problem, because man needs to pay their bills.
Yeah, but the items itself,
But
right?
for me, my issue is with the items. The idea behind it, great, because I believe in supporting and pushing the youth, because we have a young youth and they are willing to work. So I feel that if you're going to invest in them in a way that it will meet the current situation on the ground. Because the truth is, you can sweep, right? You can move stuff, but broom cannot do much. You get what I mean? Wheelbarrow cannot do.
It's not just a broom; it's a standing broom. Qualify the thing properly. It's a standing broom.
Yeah, but at least this one stuff, you know, go bend down like the short one. This one needs to go stand, so your back will be okay small. The one way go man, that one it be wicked or it be chisel.
Yeah, so
Anyways,
that because I always like to try to open our minds to stuff. Here they have small trucks, and I've done my research. It doesn't cost much. So
No, it doesn't.
for
Yeah.
me, that same amount, I know wheelbarrow does not cost much, but we need to see the amount they bought it for, because sometimes these are people we know. You understand? Those 200 we know. So if it will cost the same as the ones I've seen here, where they have this what is the name? The 3-wheel bike, small, but they have carriage behind, where they logo everything from the wheelbarrow, they put it inside, and then they ride it to the next the destination. These are some of the things that I think, one, safety is also key, right? I saw a video of them like 2 days ago. They finished their work around 11, 12, and they were going home, and they were packed behind the pragya or whatever they call it, right?
What be that?
The
What's
three
that?
tricycle. That tricycle.
Oh, Leo didn't call Abuboya. Never done to be Abuboya.
Abuboya, yes.
It's the same actually. Same
Yeah,
name.
it's the same.
The traditional, the local name is Abubuya.
Abuboya.
Yeah, Abuboya.
They pack themselves on the Abuboya, and they're going to drive. And you can see cars driving past them and stuff. Like Leo is saying, I feel everything cannot be done at a go. But we are in a place where it's either we fall deep. Already we're falling. And we will fall kwata, or we start to rise. But the decisions.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
There.
We're gonna
You
wrap
and who
it
is
up. Yeah,
wrapping it
I
up?
see
I'm
your
not
techie is rising. Your techie is rising.
I've not finished.
No. We get your point.
Let me say this. The idea
Yeah.
they're giving, perfect. But I feel they need to modify the equipment they are giving now. Because these days, and the open gutters we have back home, it makes it difficult. That's all.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then, can
I
I,
get you. No,
Tobacco,
can
before you go
answer.
have the final one, let me just chip this one in. I mean, if we're thinking about the donation properly, have we ever thought about all the trash they take out of the gutters and the sand and all that? Where do they dump them? So that could have gone into the thinking. Okay, so these guys use basic tools. Yes, they need to do the work. But when they collect the trash, where does it go? It ends up at another another
Who was supposed to think
location.
about that? Who was supposed to think about that?
The think tanks, the so-called think tanks we say we have.
Yeah, but I
Right.
need them my business. I mean, you decide to go sweep the city inside, that'd be your problem.
Right. So if
Because we
you're
have
giving
now, to be honest, I'm not being funny because we have a ministry responsible for that. No. We have an entire ministry responsible for that.
exactly.
So I feel like we're
yeah.
conflating it because this is just like we said, the president is just recognizing, right, what they're doing. That's it. Full stop.
Okay.
I think the
All
rest
right.
should be. Do you know what I mean, right? I feel like we're kind of like mixing it up. We cannot hold the president responsible for where they put the trash.
Now I'm just giving a suggestion here that if you're giving something that is going to be useful, then you can think about when they collect the trash from the gutters with these basic tools, where are they going to dump them? Because they don't even have a truck or machine to go and dump it at a proper dump site. So it's just going to end up somewhere else, which is an undesirable place, which becomes another problem.
The Odo River with the Sultan, if you're good enough.
Oh yeah, I forgot that one is a dumpster. So
If we fill them up again, then we'll come up with another 42 million to go the Sultan. Now, but all jokes aside, to be honest, I have a lot of respect for President Mahama. We all know he's a real gentleman. He's very
Oh yeah, he's working.
what you call it. Yeah, he's doing his best. But for me, one thing I have to say about this is I think it was when he became president, when I think President Mills passed, he promised to make Accra the Dubai of Africa. I don't know if you guys remember all that. And if I think about that, you cannot use pickaxes and wheelbarrows to turn Accra into the Dubai of Africa. Do you know, this is how sometimes I try to connect the dots, because it looks like we forget too quickly as a people. So he said that, literally he said that.
He said
he's going to make... Yeah,
Even
so
the
that's what I'm saying. So how does one use pickaxes and wheelbarrows to become the Dubai of Africa? That's the way I look at it.
The big push in his conference or on his whatever information he was giving, he said the big push project is not for wheelbarrow contractors.
Contractors,
Exactly.
yes.
There are a few wheelbarrow contractors who have come to me. Oh, I hear they're distributing projects under the big push. I want one. I said, my friend, this is not for wheelbarrow contractors.
So this is what I'm saying. That's the paradigm. It's
but
like
at the same time, you know,
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. That a lot of things that he says does not match what he's actually doing on the ground. Because the Dubai of Africa is one thing, and secondly, do you remember he was saying he was making comments about his visit to Singapore? You heard what he said, right? About how clean Singapore is, their laws are working, and all that, yada yada yada. So, what you presented to these boys, is it gonna give that push to make Ghana like the Singapore of Africa? That's the way I look at it, right? You travel, you see it, you make analysis, but then you give the boys things like this. So it's just, for me, that's the way I look at it. Just kind of like interesting. The way they say one thing, but on the ground they do another thing.
Let me read something.
Yeah.
Sure. A few wheelbarrow contractors who have come to me saying, "Oh, I hear they are distributing projects under the big push. I want one, my friend." And then he said, I quote, "My friend, this is not for wheelbarrow contractors. You are my friend, but I won't give it to you because it is not meant for wheelbarrow contractors."
Oh, they get that be shaming. No, but I mean, he said it jokingly, but that's how the reality should be. I mean, it's not something for. We don't have time with 500 workers pushing 1 ton of sand over 3 months.
Yep. Yo, Charlie. So to be honest, shout out to the Buzstopboys. Honest, sometimes we gotta be honest. None of us would want to be in their shoes. What these guys do is immensely difficult. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, whatever they got from the president, I'm pretty sure they appreciated it. But I was just hoping they kind of like they've gotten something more to make their work a lot easier. So yo, comment section, let us know if you guys think whatever the president did was satisfactory, or you think people just talk too much. All right. So on the next episode of DLS, abandon you.
Peace out.